The Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone, in collaboration with the Network of African National Human Rights Institution (NANHRI), has ended a two-day consultative conference on the roadmap for the development of a national action plan on decriminalization of petty offences. The rationale for the campaigning to decriminalize petty offences is to ensure that hindrances to the enjoyment of human rights and equal rights before the law is removed, which in turn will help to decongest police cells and correctional centers. Participants of the consultative conference, drawn from MDAs, CSOs, law enforcement agencies, NGOs, and human rights defenders, expressed willingness to work with the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone to decriminalize such offences, as the poor are mostly affected by such laws. Representatives of Center for Accountability and Rule of Law, an advocate who made presentations during the process, said they had been advocating on the need to release drivers and other categories of people who commit minor offenses such as loitering, prostitution, riding without helmet and seatbelt, and that they sometimes strike compromise with the police to release those arrested for fraudulent conversion and pay their debts in beads. The chairperson of the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone, Patricia Danema, said, "Decriminalizing petty offences will help the nation to decongest the prisons." She reaffirmed the commitment of the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone to moving the process of decriminalization forward.
We are well in place to play a lead role in the decriminalization process in collaboration with key actors in government, civil society organizations, and other interested partners intervening in the field of human rights and especially the criminal justice system. As other African countries such as Ghana, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Kenya, South Africa, Senegal, and other organizations such as the African Police Civilian Oversight Forum have embarked on a regional campaign on the decriminalization of petty offences, Sierra Leone too should not be left behind from such a good practice, which is worth emulating as a result of the benefits it is yielding in other countries. Being part of this campaign sees us implementing the provisions in the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, to which we are legally binding as a state.
The Vice Chairperson of HRCSL, Victor Idris Olansana, was concerned about state resources spent on inmates that are imprisoned because of petty offences. He said Sierra Leone will save millions of loans every year if they decriminalize petty offences.
This advocacy is informed by the routine and thematic monitoring and observations carried out by the Commission over the years. It is no secret that many detention facilities in our country are overcrowded, and victims of petty offences constitute a good number. We believe that petty offences automatically attract an admission to bail would make a whole lot of difference in decongesting correctional centers.
Commissioner Dr. Abes of HICSL said about 87 people were jailed because they can't afford to pay fines that were as low as 200,000 loans. He said the poor people are always suffering from petty offences since they can't afford to pay the monies requested by the police.
The majority of petty offences laws are now obsolete, really, in terms of its effect and relevance in the 21st century and in the democratic society. So as a human rights institution, we strongly believe if the enjoyment of rights is to be guaranteed to all without prejudice, malice, discrimination, then it is strongly recommended that petty offences laws in Sierra Leone are decriminalized. We intend to address issues dealing with the decriminalization of petty offences in Sierra Leone, and also such as the impact of petty offences on the poor, women, correctional centers, and the state. We also look at efforts at decriminalization and declassification of petty offences, the nature of petty offences, and of course their origin from colonialism.
Program Manager of NANHRI, Fanis Akinyi Odacha, said the project of advocating for the decriminalization of petty offences are implemented in Sierra Leone, Uganda, and Nigeria. She said they would be monitoring progress made in each country and commended participants for the zeal to join the advocacy.
In our research, we've discovered that there are civil society organizations, the National Human Rights Commission, and other institutions that have put in some work towards this. But this work is being done independently. So this meeting seeks to consolidate all those efforts and clearly develop a roadmap for where we are headed. And therefore looking at an opportunity where in the next 2 years, we will be speaking like Cote d'Ivoire. Because this project was initially in Cote d'Ivoire and other 4 countries. And in Cote d'Ivoire, as we speak today, all petty offences except begging have been decriminalized.
Commissioner Simiti Lavely outlined prostitution, drunkenness, being out of your room during curfew hours, urinating in public places, and loitering are some of the petty offences that can imprison and give criminal records to people in Sierra Leone. She said some of the petty offences are found in the Road Traffic Regulations, Public Order Act of 1965, regulations made for public state of emergency, traditional bylaws, and local council laws. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Anthony Brewer, in his keynote address, was impressed with the advocacy and reaffirmed the commitment of the Ministry of Justice in decriminalizing such petty offences in the country.
As a legal practitioner of almost 30 years standing, I'm aware that petty offences laws are often vague in definition, and their interpretations tend to leave law enforcement officers and the courts with unfettered discretion and unequal enforcement. This has contributed immensely to prison overcrowding and increased cost of incarceration. Let me assure you of government's commitment to such items, and my office will continue to provide the necessary support needed for such reforms.
The advocacy for the repeal of petty offences in the country is in line with the mandate of the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone of protecting and promoting the human rights of all in Sierra Leone and ensure that the culture of human rights prevails and citizens obey the rule of law and live in peace and dignity. This message is brought to you from the communication units of the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone.